Hey guys, my name is Nora Franche, and welcome to the podcast Grateful Blessed Mess, daily reflections for those in the 12 steps. I am a fellow 12-stepper and certified mindset coach, and I am here to introduce you to the value of mindset coaching in your 12-step journey. So if you feel like you are stuck in the steps, if you're slipping and sliding with your abstinence, mindset coaching may help you as it did me, and you can find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. These episodes are meant to invite you in to consider the truths of 12-step wisdom and to join in the very real struggle of living them in action. I hope that it feels almost like a mini meeting, and I invite you to contribute your own share on the Grateful Blessed Mess Facebook group to keep the discussion going. My comments are based on my own experience, so feel free to take what you like and leave the rest. But my hope is to encourage you on your own daily 12-step journey. As they say, you cannot stay clean on yesterday's shower. So without further ado, let's begin. Hey guys, we're reading from Daily Reflections, page 144, the reading from May 15th. No God, no peace. It is plain that a life which includes deep resentment leads only to futility and unhappiness. But with the alcoholic, whose hope is the maintenance and growth of a spiritual experience, this business of resentment is infinitely grave. That is from the Big Book, page 66. And the reflection is this: no God, K-N-O-W, no peace, K-N-O-W. No God, N-O, God, no peace, N-O, peace. So, play on words there. But I think that wraps it up in a nutshell. And this is why I did my workshop on the God of our understanding. Because when we don't understand who God is, we don't know him. And if we don't know him cerebrally or, correctly in our minds, then we don't get to experience and know peace. And that's the whole thing. That is just the crux of the spiritual solution. And so I think I'm just going to keep hammering in about this, about having an accurate and good relationship with our higher power, with the God of our understanding, because that is the foundation, the support system of our entire recovery. Because if we don't have someone we can turn our will and our lives over to, if we really don't trust anything else to do that to, we're still in self-reliance. And that was the whole thing, that was the whole problem that got us into our disease. 1,000 forms of self, whatever the Big Book has, that litany of self-centeredness, self-centered thinking, all that stuff. And the thing about knowing God is that in this mystical way, and it's like this good kind of mental twist, all of a sudden we're able to live outside of ourselves. And I think it's because of this, and this is not so mystical, and it's because when we do have that firm bedrock of trusting in a higher power, of truly believing that he's got me, and so no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay. There's a reason why that is so helpful, and it's because we go back to these attachment needs that we need to have had in childhood if we are going to be able to move into adulthood without dysfunctional behaviors. Because so much of the time, our dysfunctional behaviors are like sideways methods we've come up with to get these attachment needs met that we never had as children. And so I'm going to run through them again. And as I do, I just want you to remember that the whole point now is not to go back to those relationships from childhood and demand this of those people. Now we get to have this strong attachment to our higher power. And so here we go. So the attachment needs are these. Number 1, my need for felt safety and protection in relationships. Number 2, my need for a felt sense of being seen, heard, known, and understood. Number 3, my need for a felt sense of being comforted, soothed, and reassured. Number 4, my need for a felt sense of being valued, treasured, delighted in, and cherished. And number 5, my need for a felt sense of support for my highest good. And there's a slight caveat here, because while the end goal is that we do lean on our higher power for all of these needs to be met, like I said in yesterday's podcast, we actually have to first be there for ourselves. So while we still don't believe that we are not worthy or good enough to have all of these good things, or if we have some doubt within us where we cannot meet ourselves in these places, if we aren't safe with ourselves, if we don't give ourselves space to be seen, heard, and known by ourselves, if we don't comfort and soothe and reassure and delight in who we are and will our own good, we won't accept it from anyone else. And maybe you've experienced this in relationships with good people where they just want to love you. Like they just want you to see you the way they see you, and you just can't, and you can't even accept that from them. That is what I'm talking about. So you won't be able to accept that from a higher power if you don't actually provide all this for yourself first. The reason why we need to ultimately rely on it from our higher power is because that source is infinite. We are not. We are finite and we are mortal. And we have an end. We have an end point. We have natural limitations. And so while we need to have this for ourselves, this ultimately ends up being the bridge to our higher power, who is an infinite source of all these good things that can meet every need we have indefinitely. And so while we always need to have it within us, it is there simply and importantly to be the bridge to that infinite source. So I hope that makes sense. It's a little deep. It's a little more psychologically inclined. But that's where life's taken me these days. So reach out with any questions. With that, I pass. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you feel that mindset coaching could help you on your 12-step journey, please feel free to reach out and find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. This is not a replacement for 12-step work. This is something outside of the 12 steps. It is simply something that has a heart for the 12 steps and those who are in it. And so, welcome. If you are here, chances are you may also be a bit of a mess. And I hope that you can learn to find some gratitude in the blessings that have come from your messes.